My friend Lois let me take out her 2025 MXZ 600 Sport to help her break it in a little bit. So I'm running on Namakagon. I'm going to head down to Lakewoods and then up past Evergreen and then to the Namakagon Dam and then back out over past Four Seasons. So be sure to keep watching. We get to pass some other snowmobiles at some points, and if you see as I'm going, I'll stop once in a while because I hadn't really figured out the hand warmers yet. I had like, just pushed it up there. I thought by pushing the button up it turned it on, but it turned it on, but it only turned it up one notch, so my hands started freezing. So as I'm going, especially on the lake here, because it is 13 degrees out, so it's not too bad, but with the wind on the open lake like that, my hands were starting to freeze up solid, and I didn't realize I wasn't turning the hand warmers on fully. So it's like I'm stopping right now because my fingers were going numb, especially my thumb, and I don't really figure it out until quite a bit farther in. So if you see me stopping and taking my hands off, it's because I'm freezing up. As I get closer to Lakewoods, I start thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, I might have to turn around and go ask how do you turn the hand warmers on fully, because it was like my hands were so much pain. But then I thought, well, if I get back in the woods, it would probably help, which it actually does. Once you get back into the woods, you don't have that open space where the wind is just like blowing right on you, because I was doing anyway between 30 to 40 miles an hour on the lake. You'd only hit 40 like one time, but I'm used to riding the 1967 that you see in my other videos, and there's no hand warmers in that. But then also the handlebars, the engine is right there, so you get heat from the engine, plus you're not going maybe 10-15 miles an hour on that snowmobile, so you're not getting that cold wind blowing on your hands. So that's why it doesn't really affect your hands as much with the older sled. With this one, you're really moving, and that, as you can see, your hands are outside the windshield, so that wind is blowing right on your hands. So hand warmers are a must when you get out into the open lake like that. So okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments. See, I was hitting the hand warmer button again. So enjoy. Lakewoods Resort. You see Lakewoods a lot in my video, especially with the weenie roast and stuff like that on beautiful Lake Namakagon. Off to the right here is one of the roads that goes over towards the Evergreen. And then you go down this big hill right here, and then there'll be another turn that goes towards the Evergreen. You can, if you look down that way, I'm not sure if I do look down there enough. Yeah, you can, way at the end of that road is the Evergreen. I like this straight stretch here. It's like a swampy area, so if the conditions weren't good, there's usually some water through here, but as you can see, the trail conditions this year are excellent. And up ahead here, we'll be coming up to the corner. There's a stop sign up here. If you turn to the left, you can go towards Cable. You'll go Telmark, where Telmark used to be, and go up that way, and go down toward, you can get to Cable that way, and Hayward. And where I'm going to be coming up, I'll be turning to the right, and that'll take me back to Highway M, and then you cross, head towards the Namakagon Dam that you will see a little bit later in the video. At this point, I was still thinking, I must not be doing this. See, I'm trying to adjust it. I didn't really see on the display exactly where it was turning it up and stuff, but I figured I had to try something to figure out why it was not quite on yet. Not until I really look down and concentrate and look at the display that I realized that you have to hit it to turn it up notches of heat, and I do eventually get it turned up, and then I had it turned up higher than I really needed to, I think, because my hands were starting to cook a little bit, but it was all good. It was a lot of fun to ride. It was my first time riding trails on a newer sled, and not something made in the 1970s, 60s, and 70s. It's really nice to be able to ride and not be constantly worried where you're at, to thinking about how am I going to walk home. Being on a vintage sled, it could break down at any moment, so you're constantly thinking about that in the back of your mind as you're riding. It was kind of nice to just kind of cruise through and be able to enjoy the scenery and not think about that the whole time, with like you do with the vintage sled. part right here, you go over this bridge. On your right hand side is the Namakagon Dam, and it feeds into the Namakagon River. like that there was enough snow on the bridge here, because a lot of times when I'm riding the vintage sleds along here, there's no snow, so the newer sled, it would be harder on it. The vintage sleds you can ride, those can ride really anywhere, being air cooled. You can ride them on grass or whatever you want. Now at this corner, that's coming up to the left, I think it's Otter Bay. Don't quote me on that one. I didn't look at I should remember. I've gone through here so many times. But I'm pretty sure that's what it is, Otter Bay. A couple of the snowmobilers that we came across, I had to stop because I took my glove off and my tip of my thumb was like frozen solid. That one right there was like I had to hold it in my, hold it real tight. So I had no feeling in it anymore. So I'm just like, ah. So I think that's why I kind of played around. I was feeling the hand grip, see if there was much heat, but it really wasn't. I think this is kind of where I decided to kind of really give it a good look and figure out, which I should have done a lot earlier, but at the time I was excited about getting to ride a new snowmobile and stuff, and I wasn't really thinking about that aspect of it. I know I got it turned up at some point. I was just having a ball. It was a lot of fun getting to ride a new snowmobile. hitting the trails. Been on these trails so many times. My dad, mom and dad and I and stuff, we would take these runs a lot on our vintage sleds. Dad would be on his 1973 99 that he had bought brand new that I rebuilt, and mom would be on her 69 320, and I would be on my 67 or on my 70. I had my own 7399 also. I like to ride that one a lot too. I did have a TNT 440 that the inside of the engine broke to where I can't fix it, and I've got a couple other 69s that I've ridden and stuff. A lot of different ones over the years that we would all head out on trail rides. If you go back to the playlist, you'll find under the vintage snowmobile, you can find video of us all out on trail rides and stuff like that on the vintage sleds. My dad sure would have loved to have gotten to ride a new sled like this. But he did love his vintage snowmobiles. They always got so much attention when he would ride. He would loved riding around at the weenie roast and stuff. You know, everybody waving and smiling, trying to take pictures and stuff like that. He loved the attention that the vintage sleds brought. Me too. We would go cruising through the weenie roast together, running around out in front of the yard and stuff on the lake. Coming up, and once I get down this road, one of my favorite spots in the whole trail. I don't know why, but it's just there's a straightaway that it's beautiful out in the middle of the field. You'll see I'll stop the snowmobile right there just to kind of get off and kind of look around a little bit and stuff as we hit this straightaway up ahead here. This is the field. I don't know about this straightaway. The trail's always in such good shape through here, nice and wide and open. So I always like to kind of get off and look around a little bit and see if you can see any animals out in the field. It's an awesome snowmobile. Thank you, Lois, for letting me take it out and running around on it a little bit. It's a lot of fun to do, because I could never afford to get one myself. off to the right. I'm heading away from it right now, but over to the right is where the Four Seasons is. You saw the last video on the 67. I actually rode up through the Four Seasons, so that's what that looks like. I didn't go up in there this time. Thank you everybody for coming along on my trail ride. Thank you so much, Lois, for giving me this opportunity to go out on a new sled and take a little trip around on the trails on something that I'm not constantly worried that I'm going to be walking. So thank you, Lois. I appreciate it. Thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate that. Remember, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. Be sure to check out all the other videos on the channel. I've got a lot of vintage sleds videos, so thank you so much.